Action. Right, let's see what we ask. So, you could introduce yourself, your name.
My name's Donald Pagler, Pagler.
And, where were you born?
Wamego, Kansas.
Oh, Kansas, that's
Yeah.
cool. And, let's see. So, how was your childhood like? What could you, how would you, describe your childhood? Was it great?
Yeah, it was very good. I grew up in a small town of 2,500 people, and all my family had been from around there, and I was a very good athlete. I was an excellent athlete in high school, kind of a mediocre student. Drove a lot of heavy equipment when I was young for jobs.
That's all?
Huh?
That's all?
I'm sorry.
And that's all? Never mind. Okay. Never mind. Let's see what's up. Okay. How did you became sorry, I forgot to say, what war were you in World War II or, sorry.
I was what was called the 6-Day War, which was between Israel and the Arab nations in the Middle East.
Oh, okay.
In June of 1967.
Okay. Okay, so how did you become a soldier and why did you enlist in the war?
Well, it was the Vietnam era, and there was the draft, which they don't have nowadays. So when you got to be 18, you were liable for the draft. And I had gone to college for a year and a half and hadn't done that well, and I knew the draft was going to be breathing down my neck, and I had an uncle who had been a communications officer in the Merchant Marines in World War II. So I had always kind of wanted to go to sea. I really didn't want to be a soldier, particularly, as much as I wanted to go to sea in the Navy, so I joined the Navy.
Oh, the Navy you joined.
Yeah, and I went to boot camp in June of 1966. Do you want me to continue on with that, or where you're going?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, ask my next question. So, what was describe your first day when you went in the Navy? What was your first day like? Was it good or?
Well, I went to boot camp, and it's quite a rude awakening going to boot camp. A lot of discipline. You don't get to keep anything of your own. They issue you everything that you want. They want you to have. Basically, it's kind of like being in prison for 3 months. And so, you can't go out on your own or anything like that.
That's kind of
a company of 80 guys being disciplined and learn the military way.
Okay. And, question number 3. What division you were in, or branch,
Well, I was in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
But then when I went to boot camp, when you go to boot camp, you go through a large battery of tests, and after the tests, you go for an interview, and you get to put down a choice of 3 things that you think you would like to do, and then they evaluate your tests and decide where they're going to put you. And I had put down that I think my first choice was I wanted to be an ET, an electronics technician. My second choice was a radioman, and I don't remember what my third choice was. And so while I was going through my interview, the person interviewing me said, just a minute, went away, came back, and said, "Come with me," and he walked me down this hall, and he opened up this room door, and inside this room was a chief sitting at one table with two chairs, and he said, "Go in and talk to this guy." And this guy said, "Well, how would you like to become a communications technician?" That's what they called us back in those days. About 10 years later, they changed it to crypto technician, which is a little more descriptive of what our job was. We were intelligence people. And he said, "How'd you like to become a communications technician?" And I'm like,
Is that you, like, sorry to interrupt, that's like where you do like radios, like you talk to people and like...
well, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
And so they, I was thinking, wow, I'm sure it beats swabbing decks on a ship for a living. So I told the guy, I says, "Well, maybe I'll put it down for my third choice." And he said, "Son, the only way you can get in the Naval Security Group is if I recommend you, and the only way I'm going to recommend you is if you put it down for your first choice." So that's how I became a crypto technician.
Mm.
And crypto technician is intelligence, and so I ended up with what's called a top secret crypto clearance, which is the highest security clearance you can get in this country. When I went into that group, then I signed a piece of paper that said 10 years in prison, $10,000 fine if I ever talk about what I do for a job.
Mm.
So I still don't talk about the specifics of what I did. So anyway, that's kind of how I began. Yes, it's all sorts of communications. Voice. I started out in Morse code.
Mm.
So.
So that question, so what's the like highest rank you got? Like
I became in general terms an E5, which in the Navy is known as a second class petty officer.
Mm. And oh, what did you want to say?
No, that's it.
Oh, okay. And alright, and question number 5. Like, what stuff did you were taught during like this war? Like, what were you learned? Like, what did you like learn from people who taught you stuff? Like,
You mean about my job?
yes, like,
Well, as I said, my job was I was on a ship that was considered to be the most sophisticated listening platform in the world at the time. And basically what we did is we collected intelligence from around the world, wherever our ship happened to be.
alright. And let's see. So, how were your lifestyle during the war? Like, and what did you do in your free time?
Well, when you're on ship, you don't you can't do anything on free time.
Okay.
I mean, you can't go down to the local hangout or whatever because you're at sea on a ship. So,
Okay.
I mean,
I
you
see.
can play cards, you can do a lot of things to entertain yourself. But my tour of duty on the USS Liberty was supposed to be 18 months, which would have been 3 trips to Africa and back. And I had just gotten on board late March. We went to sea May the 2nd. We were attacked June the 8th. And a month later, I was back home in Kansas on 30 days leave because of being attacked. And so after the ship, then I got shore duty in Hawaii. So I was stationed in Hawaii for 2.5 years.
Okay. Let's see. Did you have any good memories or you something that something that was at least a day that wasn't no trouble or no battles did you have any moment or you just had a good time?
Well, when you're on ship, when you hit port, you have liberty, and so you get to go see all the sights of wherever you happen to be in port at.
Mm.
So that's sort of, I think, what you're talking about.
Okay.
I mean, it all depends on what you call fond memories. I mean, our ship was under attack about as long as Pearl Harbor. 70% of our crew were killed or wounded. All the damage to the ship we should have sunk, and we didn't. We managed to keep her afloat. So one thing I consider myself lucky for was the people I served with, because we really should have gone to the bottom, and I served with a bunch of guys that did their job well, and we kept the ship afloat. So.
Okay. And did you like manage to contact like your relatives during you were on the ship? Like, did you like wrote letters, or like it was like, or you couldn't like done that or something?
Yeah, we wrote letters, but and after we were attacked, my family didn't know whether I was dead or alive for a week. After we were attacked, when they finally found out that I was alive.
Okay. And did you have any friends during the war? Yeah, did you have any friends that you could like tell, like?
Yep, yeah, I had lots of friends. I had friends on the ship, although I was only on it for 3 months. But then 4 of us from the ship went to Hawaii, the same station in Hawaii. So I continued my friendship with those 4 guys for the next 2.5 years.
Mm.
2 of them live in California. 1 lives in Illinois.
Oh, that's where I used to
Yeah.
live. And
He lives south of Kankakee, between Kankakee and Champaign, kind of halfway in between.
I think I heard of that place. Let's see. Did you get to like operate something like? No, wrong question. So how long did you served? Like how long did like this whole thing last?
When I went into the Navy, in the military, in the U.S. military, your enlistment is always for 6 years, no matter what. But you have people who serve different times as far as active duty. If you were a draftee in the Army, you only had to serve 2 years active duty. In the Navy, you had to serve at least 4 years, unless you were in the reserves. You had to serve at least 4 years active duty, so that's what I did.
Well, like what year you joined the Navy?
I joined the Navy in June of '66, and I got out in March of 1970.
Okay. And did you receive any medals like you have?
Yeah.
Like do you have them right now?
There is a shadow box up on the wall above that chair.
Yeah.
My ball cap has many medals on it, which I can explain to you what they are if you want.
Actually, that's fine. I could just wait. What were the other medals you said you had?
In that, what's called the shadow box, the glass thing right there on the
This
wall.
one?
No, to the left of it. See, right on the wall.
Oh,
of the
okay.
chair.
Okay. So. Okay. And just put this back real quick. Okay. And let's see. So, and do you have any like philosophy or like tips you could say about something, or like advice about like we're in the Navy? Like any tips or like advice you could tell?
Well, probably the same thing you would do in any job in life, and that is do the best job you can. And as I said, I don't. If we hadn't had a good team, we wouldn't have. None of us would have survived. We all would have been dead. So you learn teamwork.
Okay.
And